Hello, everybody. Happy May 30th, 2020. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on today's show, we have a Platt running back. His name, Roberto Salas. Roberto, thanks so much for being able to come on today.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
It's great to be able to have a running back, because there's a plethora of running backs in the state, but from Platt, there's a lot of talent overall. You're just one of what is a very talented team, in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think we do have a lot of talent from not only on the offense but defense side too. But definitely, offense is definitely one big one part of their Platt offense or Platt school.
So, before we get into what you've done at Platt, just tell me about kind of what got you into playing football.
What got me playing into football? It definitely took place back in third grade with the Raiders. It's a town. It's a town league kind of like we would go against other towns and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I started third grade. It was like the Mighty Mites, and I know my parents were a little hesitant at playing football at first, especially at such a young age. They didn't want me getting hurt or anything. But as soon as I played, I think it was my first game, I fell in love with the sport right away. Like the competition and like the team. What was it called? Like everybody working together to like win. I think that season we won like every game besides one game, and then just the brotherhood that we had and the Raiders. It stuck with me. So like even I was a big baseball player when I was younger, but after football, it all changed. Like I was just a big football player after that.
Now, what position were you playing coming through the ranks?
I've always been a tailback, so I was always like a downhill runner, like that 2 yards you needed it. Like I was always the running back for them.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really have me running like outside or anything, so I was always one of the heavy like running backs that go down the middle. But defense, they wouldn't have me play too much defense. If I did, it was always DN.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, it was always stuck as a running back, tailback. Yeah.
Now, when you entered Platt your freshman year, did you play varsity your freshman year?
No, I did not play any
Okay.
varsity. I almost had a chance to. It was I think our starting running back, he got hurt, and the coach saw a little potential in me, saying that maybe I could help out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like later on in the season, he was like, "Nah, let's save him for like next year and work with him then."
Do you think it was good that you didn't make varsity your freshman year because it kind of added more fuel to the fire?
Oh yeah, definitely. I did. I was able to see the experience as varsity, being on the field with them on game days,
Mm-hmm.
and just see how like different it is compared to freshman football and like the Raiders football I played with before. So that definitely gave me an early experience on that. So then going into my sophomore year with the varsity, I knew what it was like, what the competition was going to be like. It wasn't going to be easy or anything. So that definitely helped. Yeah.
How long did it take you to adjust to the speed? Because obviously, freshman to varsity is a gigantic leap, and the game is like fast pace.
Oh yeah, nah, it was definitely different compared to even was it Raiders. I remember they would take it step by step. I mean, offense one week, defense another week. This is both offense and defense running drills back and forth, and then having team time together. Like you need to know a lot of things early on. I know coaches really helps out with the athletes, especially going into my sophomore year on the off season, like having you have meetings, talk to the players on certain positions that they play on.
Mm-hmm.
So that when you do go into the season and like start practicing for real games and for real weeks, then you would know like what you were doing and like what you should work on and all that.
Coach Bruin mentioned to me last week that a lot of the players on last year's team were new to the varsity level or didn't have a lot of experience. So the varsity level kind of took them time to adjust because in the game, the speed was just too quick for them. Would you say it was the same for you your sophomore year because you were so new to varsity?
I would say it was probably my first game when I realized that the speed was like picked up and it was nothing like JV or freshman as my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
It was against Farmington, and went on offense first series, and it was right away. Kids were flying off the ball. Kids were running around corners, and of course, like I had to pick up and like run behind them and all that. But that's when I definitely realized that the pace, like they picked up, and like it was a wake up call basically. Like it's not going to be no easy like run through and all that. You're going to have actual real players coming at you to take your head off and all that.
Was there any game in particular your sophomore year where you felt like you were comfortable with playing on varsity and the game was starting to slow down a little bit for you?
Um, I would say I picked up real quick starting. I mean, that first game against Farmington.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it was a little nerve wracking the first quarter or so. But as soon as I got into my little groove and all that, I was able to. Was it? I think that game, 180 yards. It was my first game varsity, and I took off. I think 2 touchdowns, and that's when I felt like, yeah, I think I can definitely work with this O-line in front of me and all that. Definitely.
Now, is there any, because, again, talking to Coach Bruin, he told me about how many times you carried the ball your junior year because of the quarterback play and just the fact that the running game was working so well. Is there any, like, limited number of carries for you where once you get past, like, 25 or 30, and I'm just throwing out numbers, but is there a certain number of carries where once you get to that point, you tell Coach Bruin, hey, I need a break. I need a couple plays off?
Um, I don't think I would ever I ever went to that point that I told them like, hey, I need a substitute or anything. I love the game so much. Like once I'm in that adrenaline rush and like I'm in the game and all that, I forget how many carries. Honestly, like I'll be in one game or so. I would just keep going after and after. And the only thing that will probably stop me is probably getting like across like 50 yards, like a big old break or running like that. Then I'll need a breather or something like that. But there's never a time that I would just be like, nah, coach, I need a break. Like, give me a couple plays or all that. I was just always on the field running back and forth and all that.
Now, selfishly for you, because as you know, and, the life of a running back, again, I know I'm leaping to the NFL, but the reason why I bring it up is NFL running backs' lifespan are so short because they take so many hits from the time they're little to, high school and college and so on. So, and with you getting older and you doing more research, has it ever kind of creeped your mind that maybe I should take a little bit less hits because the more wear and tear I put on now, and with college, because you will play in college, that you would think that maybe it might be less hits you have to worry about later on?
Definitely, I've talked to a couple coaches about that certain situation too, and like wear and tear and all that. And I feel like there is a certain point that like you can take enough like hits and all that and you'll actually be sore for the next week and all that, for the next game and all that. But the mentality I play with I go in 100% of the time, like every play, like I play the play like it's like my last play. Like I always feel like after games I will be sore, but it's not to the point that I won't be able to play the next week or so. Cause I know that like that player I'm running against is not going as hard as me. Like I know that I'm going 10 times harder. I know that I can that I will be the one delivering the hit, not them. So, I mean, yeah, I'll take some wear and tear. Some weeks will be tougher than others, but then I know like the recovery is just as important. So like on the week before the games or like during the week, I'm definitely ice baths and like taking rest with the yoga and all that. So,
is there anything specifically, and that's good that you take care of yourself because the recovery process is just as important as making sure you do the work in the weight room and during the off season to make sure that your body is prepared. Now, is there anything specifically that you want to work on your senior year? Because I know your speed is pretty much there. The vision and patience that you have within the pocket and waiting for holes to open is impressive. But is there anything specifically for you that you want to work on to make sure that even more colleges, become interested in you?
One thing I definitely look at towards as a challenge to me because of how like my vision and all that and like my mentality of running the ball is always to pound the ball, get that first down and all that. It's definitely to like work on speed. Like when I hit that outside break and all that, I definitely want to work on that speed so that I would be able to run to the outside, like get that first down, but also maybe get a little bit more like accelerating faster than the linebackers and all that. So definitely speed is one that I would want to work on.
Do you watch any running backs either at the college or pro level that you try to pick some of their, either maybe their cut move or, anything in particular to be able to implement into your game plan?
Yeah, of course. I've definitely watched like the old timers, definitely Walter Payton and like.
You're going back.
Oh yeah, no,
You're going back.
Oh yeah, well, what is Bo Jackson, all them? They're all so hard hitters and all that. I think I definitely watch enough of them to like definitely play the game as like if I was them to like pound the ball and all that. But now as I start getting older and all that, realizing that maybe it's not too good to always be taking that hit, maybe go run around other people. I would definitely be watching was it receivers. Like it'd be kind of different to like hear that from a running back, not just watching running backs, but learning other positions and how different techniques help other like positions like receivers and all that, so that I could also make those moves and make those cuts and all that just like as if they were to. So I've definitely been watching a lot more receivers lately, work on like footwork and all that.
How difficult is it for you, though? And this is the last question, and Roberto, I really do appreciate you coming on. How
But yeah,
difficult is it for you? Because, just like you mentioned earlier, you're a 100% runner. You run downhill, you'll take on 50 people if you have to get to that end zone. So trying to
yeah,
change your game plan or your mindset that, okay, maybe this next time I carry, I should try to go, out of bounds if possible to save myself a hit. How hard is that for you, mentally?
um, I believe it was definitely hard for the beginning of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking that I knew, like, I told myself all the time, I was like, maybe I should hit that outside and all that. But then I was always comfortable at where I was at, running the ball, getting that first down and all that. I think it was more the second half of the season I started to realize that, hey, maybe it's not always good to just take that hit or like to just get that first down, but to accelerate on the outside. I think one of my biggest games I had, it was against Bristol Eastern. They had 270 yards that game. And one of the big reasons was because I didn't always hit that hole like as hard and like just go straight. I would always cut. I cut a lot that game and to the outside. And that's when I realized my speed was actually there. I didn't have to just depend on my like strength of hitting the hole. So definitely that I realized that then, like towards the end of the season.
Roberto, it was great having you on. You're welcome to come back on anytime. Whenever you make that first commit or whenever you make your commit to a college, come back on and be able to tell us where you're going.
I appreciate that so much, Chris. Thank you so much for having me.
That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.